My name's Jacob Scipio. We're filming the Expendables, and I play Galan. And Galan is one of the new members of the Expendables. He's the son of Gal, and in a lot of ways, he's his father's son. You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't necessarily think before he talks. I think a lot of his emotions come from his loins and his heart rather than his brain. Well, Galan's young, he's fresh, and like I said, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's not afraid to say what's on his mind, which I'm sure the other Expendables wish he wouldn't do. He's a bit of a divisive character in the Expendables group. I mean, it's one of those calls like when you definitely a pinch me moment. One of the producers, Yoni, who I worked with on that outpost, called me. And he was like, "Hey, Jacob, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Not much. What's up?" He was like, "Are you working?" I was like, "Not right now." He's like, "You want to be an expendable?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I do." That was it. I mean, you're constantly surrounded by these titans of the movie industry. There's moments when you're kind of in these shots with these guys and you're looking down, when you're all lined up and you see, oh, there's 50, there's Sly, there's there's Jason, there's Megan, and the list just goes on and on. Everyone involved in this is a legend within their own right, and I'm just happy to be invited to come and play.
For you to be involved with it.
Well, I think what you've got here with Expendables 4 at the heart and soul of it is our director, Scott. He was a stunt guy beforehand, and now he's a fantastic director. And he's a guy who directs from his heart, definitely. He knows exactly what he wants from this, and I think the action sequences are gonna be bigger and better than anything you've ever seen in the previous 3 films. They were fantastic, but this takes it to another level, and I think a lot of that is to do with Scott's input. With the Expendables movies, what's so brilliant about them is even if you haven't seen them already, you know what they are. That's the power of the franchise. So in this one in particular, it is just wall-to-wall action. That's what I want from these type of franchises, and I'm sure a lot of people out there also want. It's a whole lot of fun. Just stuff your mouth with popcorn, get down to the cinema, and have a good time. Jason leads from the front. He's in the trenches every day, not only as an actor, but as a producer. He'll stay behind and give you eye lines behind the camera, even when he's finished doing all his work, which, not a lot of people know that, but he does that. And it's certainly a marathon, not a sprint, when you're number 1 on the call sheet. You're here every day, it's hard work, it's physical work, you're grinding away, mentally draining, but his energy's always up, and he's so inquisitive, and he wants to know everything what's going on in the set in a very interesting way, and it's a pleasure to watch him work and work with him. Sly epitomizes the word movie legend. I mean, he's almost like a caricature of the movie star. I mean, I think the first time I saw him walk onto set, he's got so much presence, and rightly so. And he's there walking on set, smoking his cigar. And I'm just like, you should be wearing a cape or something. You look like a real life superhero. He is so sharp and quick-witted. And watching him come up with the one-liners on the fly is a sight to behold. He's so clever and knows exactly what the scene needs. A pleasure working with him. I mean, what's great about this movie is you have so many performers who are experts in their field of stunt training. I mean, you've got Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, who are just absolute legends in the martial arts movie industry. And what's great is you can bump into them in the hotel gym and ask them for a couple pointers or tips. And all of a sudden, you're walking around with Iko as your trainer, or Tony as your trainer, or 50 as your trainer, teaching you some technique on bench press or something. That's what's brilliant about this. I mean, everyone's an expert in their own field, and I'm just here eating up all the tasty morsels. Definitely, definitely. I had this idea of making Galan into a modern swashbuckling gladiator Zorro. So I wanted a cape, I wanted a sash, I wanted a pistol, I wanted a sword, and I wanted lots of jewelry. I didn't get all of that, but I got some of it, and I'm very happy with it. The look that we came up with in the end, working with Neil, our costume designer, who's fantastic, and Scott also, who's just so receptive to your ideas. I think we came up with a fantastic look for Galan. I think the fun thing about Expendables is that it crosses over generations. You have these iconic 80s, 90s, 2000s action movie stars who are still clanging and banging with the best of them to this day. But you also have a new generation passing through. So you've got a fun situation where you're honoring the old, I should say, but inviting the new into it. So it's a great mix, man. It really is, and I think it's gonna be enjoyable for all generations, whether you grew up watching Sly Stallone in the 80s or you're a millennial and just discovering him. I mean, what rock have you been hiding underneath? Sly Stallone.